In the affluent suburb of Richmond Shores, a seemingly perfect life was shattered by a chilling crime. Brandon Lakewood, a successful businessman and pillar of the community, was found lifeless and hanging off the side of a railroad track. The murder sent shockwaves through Richmond, leaving the community reeling in disbelief, and most of all, suspicion. Detective Richard Sterling, a seasoned investigator with a reputation for unraveling the most complex cases, was assigned to the murder. Unfortunately, this was the first case he could not solve, and it was dropped for 2 years. Until today, when new evidence was discovered, and rookie Detective Smith was assigned to the Lakewood murder with 3 new suspects in play. Lucia Lake had long suspected her husband's infidelity. Despite her suspicions, she remained in the marriage, bound by financial dependence and social status. However, her resentment and bitterness festered, creating a simmering pot of anger, and with it, her first taste of freedom. Mark Lakewood was a confident yet troubled young man, struggling with gambling debts and a lifestyle far beyond his means. Desperate for money, Mark began to eye his father's substantial wealth, contemplating a desperate act to solve his financial woes. Mr. Jenkins was growing impatient with Brandon's reluctance to keep his wife. He yearned for a life together, but Brandon's indecisiveness and fear of ruining his reputation kept him at bay. His frustration and desperation grew, fueling a desire for revenge. I'm sorry to bring you down here, Mrs.
There's no need for that anymore, Detective. It's Miss now.
Right. Well, Miss Lake, we need to talk about the night your husband passed. There are things we've discovered that are new, and we need your full cooperation.
In the midst of such dark times, I would gladly help a fellow detective, especially such a charming one.
Right. Well, how was your relationship with your husband before his accident?
Well, marriage is a complex dance, is it not? We had our ups and downs, but nothing unordinary.
Miss Lake, we need the truth.
My memory is a bit hazy from that night, but I can assure you that my husband was home with our son, and I believe I was out with some friends of mine.
Well, can these friends vouch for your whereabouts?
Well, it was a private gathering, and I believe my friends would like to be unnamed, but you can speak to the manager at Club Ruse, and he'll lead you to the right direction.
You're playing a dangerous game, Miss Lake. We checked in with your buddies over at Club Ruse, and you weren't on the guest list that night. At least, not around the time that the witnesses heard arguing.
The witnesses? Miss Jenkins wasn't even home that night. She couldn't have possibly heard a thing.
Wait. I never told you which of our witnesses tipped us off, Miss Lake. How would you know that Mrs. Jenkins wasn't home if you weren't home either? All the evidence seemed to be pointing to every possible direction, until one small, tiny, stupid mistake broke the case.